Hello guys, welcome once again to Just Craft's online beaded tutorial class. So in today's video we are going to learn how to make this vintage pearl bag. It is very easy to make and it's a very pretty bag. So get your materials ready as I've mentioned in the video, and let's get right into the video. I'll be glad to see all of you your work at the end of this video. So please let's get started. In today's video, these are the materials we'll be needing to achieve the pretty bag we are about to make. So here we have pearl bead in size 14. We also have pearl bead in size 6. We have our fishing line 0.7. We have our scissors to cut our thread, and we also have our plier to aid us in tightening our work. So basically these are the materials we need to achieve the pretty bag we are about to do. Get them ready and let's start with the tutorials. So to start, cut a thread to a reasonable length that you can control and get the edges together, and pick one edge of the fishing line and pick 6 14mm pearl bead and put all of them on the fishing line. So just as I'm doing. So with a seed bead, you cross with your other fishing line this way, then you pull it down. So when you pull it down, this is what you are going to get. You are going to get a ring of 6 bead. Okay, so now have your 2 edges of the fishing line in hand again and pick one bead, one big pearl bead, and put all of them on the fishing line and put all the fishing line into it this way as I've done. Pull it down. Okay, so when you pull it down, you'll be getting something like this. Okay, you'll be getting something like this. So now bring it to the middle of this 6 bead. So when you bring it to the middle of this 6 bead, you realize that it is directly opposite this bead. So now open your fishing line, okay, because you put the 2 inside it. So pick them one by one. So take one fishing line and pass to one side of this opposite bead and pull it out. Then you take the other fishing line from this middle bead again, and then you pass to the other direction just as I'm doing. Okay, then you pull it out. So when you cross into this opposite bead here, this particular opposite, this is what you are going to get. Make sure that the bead is in the middle like this. Okay, so after you make sure that your bead is in the middle and you come out from this particular opposite bead this way, and you have your thread coming out from the two sides of the bead or the opposite direction. You now take your left fishing line, okay, and pick one bead of the small pearl bead, then one big bead, then one small bead, then one big bead, then one small bead. So in all you use 5 bead. Okay, in all you use 5 bead, 3 small, 2 big. Okay, so the last small bead you use your other edge of the fishing line to cross it this way. Okay, to cross it this way, then you pull it down. So when you pull it down, this is what you are going to get. Okay, this is what you are going to get. So now you take your right fishing line and enter the next pearl bead. So when you enter your next pearl bead with your right fishing line, you pull it out. So when you pull it out, take your left fishing line now. Now you pick 2 pearl beads, two big, 2 small. Then you put one big one on it, then the small one will come, then the big one, then the small one. Then you cross with the last small bead like this. Okay, then you pull it down. So you get something like this as well. Take your right fishing line again and enter the next pearl bead, the big one, and then you pull it out. Now you take your left fishing line again. You pick 2 big pearl bead, then small 2 pearl bead. Now you put your big one on it first, then you add the small one, then you pick the big one, then the last one should be the small one. Now you cross again with your last small bead, then you pull it down. Okay, so when you pull it down, this is what you are going to get. So now I'll take my right fishing line again and enter this big bead again. So we are going to continue with this process or this sequence until we get here. So let me show you for the last time. So I'll show you once again. So you take your left fishing line, which is this one, then you pick 2 big pearl bead and then 2 small pearl bead. Okay, like this. Now you put your big one on it first, then next will be your small bead, then the next will be your big bead, then the last one will be your small bead. Now you take your right fishing line, then you cross with your last small bead like this, then you pull it down. So continue to do and get here. So when we get here, I'll meet you up so that we move to the next roll. So now you realize that we are left with this big bead, only this one big bead. So what I'm going to do is I'll take my right fishing line, then I'll enter the big one and come out from the small one. So just continue to watch me. First come out from the big one, then now I'll come out from the small one like this. Okay, so when I pull out, this is what I'm having. Okay, this is what I'm having. So now I'll take my left fishing line and then I'll pick 2 big bead, 1 small bead like this. So I'll put the big bead first, then the small bead, then the big bead. So I'm going to cross with the big bead like this. So when you cross with the big bead, this is what you are having, and you pull it now. This is what you have. So now I'll take my right fishing line and I'll enter this big bead here. So as I enter, this is what I'm having now. So at this point, I'll pick 2 small bead, 2 big bead. Then I'll put the small bead on my left fishing line, then followed by the 2 big bead. Then I cross with the last small bead like this. So I'll cross like this, then I'll pull it down. So when I pull it down, this is what I'm having. Now I'll use my right fishing line to enter this small bead. So I'll pull out. So this is what I'm having now. Okay. So now I'll take my right fishing line. I'll pick 1 big bead, 1 small bead. So I'll put the big bead on my left fishing line first, followed by the small bead. Then I cross with the small bead like this, and I'll pull it down. So when I pull it down, this is what I'm having. Now I'm going to use my right fishing line and enter this next 2 bead big. So as I came out from the second bead, this is what I'm having. Now I'm going to pick 2 big bead, 1 small bead like this. Okay, so I'll put the 2 big bead first on my left fishing line, followed by the small bead, and I'll cross with the small bead like this. So now we are having this. Again, I'll enter only the small bead here with my right fishing line, then I pull it. So now I'll take my left fishing line, I'll pick 1 big bead, 1 small bead, Then I'll put the big bead on my left fishing line, followed by the small bead. Then I cross with a small bead like this. Okay. Then I pull it down. So now you realize that we are following one pattern or one sequence. So we are going to repeat this until we get here. So let me show you once again. I'll use my right fishing line to enter this next two bead. So I'll take my left fishing line again and pick two big beads, one small bead, and I'll cross with the small bead like this. Okay, so I'm going to repeat this until I get it. When I get it, I'll show you our next step. So now this is what we are having. We are about to end this roll as well. So for us to end it, or the last should be, you come out from these two small beads, okay, with your right fishing line. So this is what we are having. Now we are going to use one big bead to cross the two thread. Then voila, we are done. Okay, so we are done with the base of the bag. Okay, so I'll just put my thread to several beads and bring them together at one point. Then I'll tie a knot and I'll pick a new thread to begin the body of the bag. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to bring the two threads together to one point so that I'll be able to tie a knot. So now the two threads are at one point. So I'm just going to tie a knot just to secure my base, to make it very firm. So now this is what we are having. Okay, this is what we are having. So I'll go ahead and cut off the excess thread. So now this is our base. We are going to pick a new thread and begin the body of the bag. So now we were in this one bead when our thread is finished, or when we ended our thread. Okay, so what we are going to do is that we are going to enter the same bead again, then use your right fishing line to enter the next big bead, this one. So you bring your two edges together, make sure they are equal. Okay, make sure they are equal. So now take your left fishing line, then you pick one small bead, two big beads, then one small bead. So we are going to use the small bead to cross with our right fishing line like this. So make sure the two edges are equal, then you pull it down. So when you pull it down, this is what you are going to get. Okay, this is what you are going to get. Now we are going to enter the next two big bead with our right fishing line. So when you enter the next two big bead, you pull out with your right fishing line. So now you take your left fishing line, you put two big beads, then one small bead to cross the two fishing line this way. Then you pull it down as well. Then you pull it down as well. So I'll take my right fishing line again. I'll enter the next two bead again. So when you enter the next two bead, you pull it out. Then you take your left fishing line. You pick 2 big beads like this. Then 1 small bead to cross the 2 thread like this. Then you pull it down. So we are going to repeat this sequence until we get the last 2 beads here. So let me show you the last time again. Use your right fishing line to enter the next 2 big beads. Okay. Then you pull it out. So when you pull it out, then you use your left fishing line to pick 2 big beads, 1 small bead to cross the 2 fishing line. So repeat this until you get to the last point, and I'll meet you here. I'll meet you here when we get here. So now we are on the last 2 big beads. So what we are going to do is that we will use our right fishing line to enter the last 2 big beads and come out from the small bead here. So we'll enter this. So just watch me. So I use my right fishing line to enter the last 3 beads. Now I'll use my left fishing line to pick 2 big beads. Okay. Then I'll cross with the last big bead like this. So now our first row of the body is completed. You may not see a sign now in the video, but as we build on the rows, you see that our bag is forming neatly. So now I'll use my right fishing line to enter just the next 1 big bead like this. Then I'll pull it out. So to begin another row, I'm going to use 2 small bead and 2 big bead this way. So first I'll put my small bead first, followed by my 2 big beads, then lastly my small bead. Then I'll cross the 2 like this. So when I cross the small bead with my left and right fishing line, this is what I'll be having. I'll pull it down. So now I'll enter the next 2 big beads again with my right fishing line. Then I pull it out. And I'll take my left fishing line. I'll pick 2 big beads. Then I'll cross with 1 small bead. So next I'll enter the next 2 big beads with my right fishing line. Then I pull out. So I'll take my left fishing line. I'll pick 2 big beads and I'll cross with 1 small bead. So as you can see, we are on the second row, this and this. So I'll use my right fishing line to enter the next 2 beads. I pull out. Then I'll take my left fishing line, pick 2 big beads, 1 small bead to cross the 2 fishing line. So I'm going to repeat this until I get the last bead here. So as you can see, we are on the last 2 bead. So I'm going to enter the last 2 bead and come out from the small bead here. So I use my right fishing line to do that. Now I'll take my left fishing line to pick 2 big beads and I'll cross with the second big bead like this. Then I pull down. So our second row is also completed. I'll show you once again. I'll show you on another row again. You can continue to do 5, 7 and 8 and so on and so forth, however tall you want your bag to be. So my thread is almost finished, so I would like to end this thread and then continue with a new thread. So I'm just going around on the roll, okay, just to secure it as well. So I just went round on the same row, and now my thread are at one point. I'm going to tie a knot, okay, make it very tight. So at this point you can use your plier to pull it very hard, okay. Even you can do this on every row so that your bag will be very firm, very firm, okay. So now I have 2 rows. Now I'm going to pick a new thread, so you can just go ahead and cut off this excess thread. So I'm going to enter any 2 big beads with my new fishing line. So let me go ahead and cut off this excess thread first. So as I take my new thread, I entered just 2 big beads. So now I'll use my left fishing line to pick 2 small beads and 2 big beads. So first I'll put small bead first, then the 2 big beads will follow, then lastly the small bead. So I'll use the small bead, the last small bead, to cross the 2 thread this way, and I'll pull it down. So when I pull it down, this is what I'm having. So this is the beginning of another row, which is the 3rd row. I'll enter the next 2 big beads, these 2. Then I pull it out. Now I'll use my left fishing line again. Now I'll pick 2 big beads, then 1 small bead, then I'll cross with the small bead like this. Now pull it down. So when I pull it down, this is what I'm having. Now I'll enter the next 2 big beads again with my right fishing line. Then I pull out. So I'll use my left fishing line to pick 2 big beads, then 1 small bead, and I'll cross with the small bead. So I'm going to repeat this sequence until I get to this last bead here. So I'm at the end of the 3rd row as well. So now to end the roll again, I'll enter these 2 big beads and come out from the last small bead here with my right fishing line. Then I pull it out. So when I pull it out, this is what I'm having. This is what I'm having. Now I'll only take 2 big beads to end it. So I'll put that on my left fishing line like this. So I'll cross with the last or the 2nd big bead. So also we are done with our 3rd row. So to continue to do this until you build up and get like 7 or 8. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, and I'll meet you on my last row. So now I'll enter the next bead with my right fishing line. So when you are beginning every row, make sure that you are out of 2 big beads. Then you pick 2 small beads, 2 big beads. First you put 1 small, then the 2 big will follow. Then the last small one will follow. Then you cross with your the last small bead. So this is how you begin a new row. So continue to build on it until you get to your desired length of bag. Okay, so we are the last end of the last row. So I ended up doing 7 rows. Depending on the size of your pearl bead, you can use a smaller one than this, but not too small like this one. You can use a smaller size than this or a bigger one than this. So depending on that will show how tall your bag will look like. So this is 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So this is my last row. So I'll just end it and I'll fix my handle. Okay, so just watch the video carefully and then you'll be able to achieve the same thing I have done here. So now my bag is completed. I'm going to go around with my fishing line to secure the top roll as well before I move ahead and do the handle. So I'll just pass through several beads to meet at one end and I'll tie the knot. So now my thread are at one point. I'll tie a knot. Okay, I just want to secure the top roll as well. Okay, so I'll tie a double knot. So as you are tying a knot, it's making your bag very firm and secure. Okay, so now my bag is here. Now I want to fix the handle on one bead like this. So as the 2 edges of the thread are in one corner like this, I'll just pick one to enter this big bead here. So you realize that my thread are on top of this one bead. So now I'll go ahead and fix the handle. So now I'll open my edges like this. Then I'll put 1 small bead on each thread. I'll let it come down like this. Okay, I'll add another one. So meaning I'll add 2 small bead on each thread. Okay, so when I let it slide down, this is what I'm having. Now I'll bring the 2 edges together like this. Okay, so I'm going to use 15 or lesser bead in all. Okay, so now I have a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13. So I'll add 2, making 15. Okay, making 15. Then I'll add another 2 on each, another small bead, 2 on each facing line again. So my left will take 2, my right will also take 2. So when you put all, so now when you start 2 on each thread, then you put 15, or you can use lesser. Then you open it again at the end and you put 2 on each thread again. So now you are going to trace it to the directly opposite bead of where it starts from. So as we are here, this should be the directly opposite of it. So you can even count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the other side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that tells us that this is the middle, the directly opposite middle bead. So now we are going to open our thread. We pass one side with one thread. So just watch me. So as I pass, I'll come out from one side like this. I'll come out from one side like this. Then the other thread will also go the other direction, this way. Okay, so this is what we will be having. This is what we will be having. Okay, so this is what we are having. So I'll just go ahead and tighten my handle. I'll just go ahead and bring the two. So I'm just going to bring the two edges together at one point and tie a knot now. So that is what I'm doing. So I'll pull it very hard and I'll tie a knot. Pull it very hard so that your handle will stand firmly like this. Okay, pull it very hard. So now our bag is ready. Our vintage pure bead bag is ready. So you can just go ahead and style it yourself, or you sell it for a token. So this bag is actually available for sale. So you can just go ahead and cut off your excess thread. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video and taking my tutorials. I didn't take you for granted at all. I really appreciate your support, and I'll be glad to see all of you your work. Send it to me on any of my social media or on WhatsApp with my number on the screen. Thank you very much for watching up to this point. Until I see you in my next video. Bye bye and remain blessed. Thank you very much. So now this is our bag.